Welcome to English Mastery, the place where learning English becomes simple, fun, and practical. In this podcast, we'll improve your vocabulary, speaking, pronunciation, and confidence through relaxed conversations and real-life topics. So sit back, enjoy the episode, and let's learn English together.
Imagine stepping out of a car and standing right in front of this massive white building.
Oh, yeah, like a giant royal palace or something.
Exactly. It is so big. And standing right there, just guarding the front yard, is a giant elephant.
Wait, a real elephant?
No, an elephant made entirely out of dark bronze. But, I mean, it looks so real that you almost expect it to, trumpet at you.
That sounds amazing.
Right. And that elephant isn't just a statue. It's actually like a giant bronze guard dog for some of Indonesia's greatest secrets. So today we are doing a deep dive into this amazing Indonesian comic book called Petualangan di Museum.
Which translates to Adventure in the Museum.
Yep. Written by Yeni Yulianti. And the illustrations were done by Budi Prianto. They are incredible.
They really are. And our mission today for you, our listener, is to practice our English together while we explore the historical treasures hidden inside this story.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we jump into the story of the kids in the comic book, we really need to understand why the author, Yeni Yulianti, decided to write a whole comic book about a museum.
Right. It's not exactly your typical superhero comic.
No, not at all. In the preface of the book, which in Indonesian is called Sekapur Siri, she reveals this major secret.
Mm-hmm.
She is completely, totally obsessed with museums.
Oh, wow. Like she just visits them sometimes?
No. When she travels, visiting a museum isn't just like something she does if she has some free time. It is her absolute top priority.
What's fascinating here is why she feels that way. I mean, for a lot of people, the word museum brings up images of a quiet, dusty building filled with old objects in glass cases.
Yeah, where you have to whisper and not touch anything.
Exactly. But to the author, a museum is this place of thrilling mystery. It's about the excitement of acting like a detective, piecing together the puzzles of how our world became what it is today.
But wait, I mean, most kids don't naturally wake up and say, hey, I want to go look at ancient pottery today.
All right, usually it's video games or cartoons.
Yeah. So how did she get so obsessed with this in the first place?
Well, she tells us that this passion was a gift. It was passed down from her mother, her mamak, and her late father, her bapak.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It is. When she was a young girl, her parents would take her to historical sites, and they wouldn't just point at an old rock and move on.
What would they do?
They would share these exciting stories about the great heroes and the ordinary people who used those objects long, long ago. They really brought the history to life for her.
That makes a lot of sense. If you think about it, it is like a family passing down a map to buried treasure.
Oh, I love that comparison.
Yeah, instead of giving her a chest full of gold coins or, a secret recipe for cookies, her parents gave her the curiosity to find historical treasures wherever she goes.
And now she wrote this comic book because she wants to pass that exact same map, that same feeling of discovery, to you, our listener.
So how does she do that? She takes us on a trip with a fictional family, a made-up family in the comic who shares this exact same excitement.
Right, so we follow this young, energetic girl named Jinka.
She is so fun.
She is. And her older brother named Camille. They are traveling with their mom, their dad, and their very wise grandmother, who they call Nanek.
So the story kicks off because Camille just won first place in a big competition.
That's a big deal.
Huge deal. So to celebrate, Ninette cooks a special meal, they pack their bags, and they hop on a flight on Budi Airlines from Pontianak all the way to the massive city of Jakarta.
Traveling on an airplane is already a big adventure.
Totally. But while they are sitting on the airplane, little Jinga asks a very important question. She asks her brother, what is a museum, actually?
Which is a great question for a kid to ask. And Nanek steps in with a perfectly clear definition.
What does she say?
She tells Jenga that a museum is a building used to store historical artifacts.
Let's define that English word for a second for you listening. An artifact.
Good idea.
An artifact is any object made or used by a human being a long, long time ago.
So, like, it could be a carved ball.
Yeah, a carved bowl, a metal sword, or even an old piece of clothing. So Ninek tells the kids that she has visited many museums since she was a little girl.
Oh, so she's hyping it up.
Exactly. She says the one they are going to visit today was one of her absolute favorites. She is actively building up their excitement.
That's a really smart parenting trick.
Well, I have to push back on this, though. If you ask most kids where they want to go on a celebration trip, they are going to say an amusement park.
Oh, for sure. They want roller coasters.
Roller coasters, carnival games, cotton candy. How does Ninek make a quiet building full of old artifacts sound just as exciting as a giant roller coaster?
By changing the framing. She doesn't describe it as a school assignment or a chore, you know.
Right.
She framed the visit as an exploration into an unknown world. By promising them stories and mysteries, she makes Jinga and Camille feel like brave treasure hunters stepping into a time machine.
Ah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. The excitement doesn't come from a fast ride. It comes from unlocking secrets.
So they are treasure hunters on a grand adventure. Let's look at what happens when these treasure hunters finally pull up to their destination.
The famous National Museum.
Yes, the Museum Nasional in Jakarta. Before they even get out of the taxi, Jinga points out the window at that massive bronze elephant statue we talked about earlier.
Right, the guard dog of the museum.
And because of that specific statue, for a very long time, locals actually called this place the Elephant Museum or Museum Gajah.
Which makes total sense. But what is truly staggering is the age of the institution itself.
Oh yeah, share the date. It's wild.
This museum was established way back around the year 1778.
1778. I want you, our listener, to really think about that year. That is long, long before airplanes were invented.
Before electricity, too.
Yes, long before electricity or cars or smartphones or the internet. Imagine walking into a building that has been collecting stories since before your great-great-great-grandparents were even born.
It's hard to even wrap your head around. The building itself is a massive artifact.
It really is. It has stood through centuries of change. But the comic adds a great moment of humor right at the entrance.
Oh, with the dad.
Yeah, the dad goes to buy the tickets, right? And he looks at the sign and realizes the ticket prices haven't changed at all since their last visit 3 years ago.
It's rare these days.
I know. He jokes that it is an eternal price.
An eternal price for eternal history. I love that.
So the family pays that eternal price and steps inside the grand halls. And they don't just find delicate little objects in glass cases.
No, almost immediately, they are confronted with this massive, overwhelming mystery made of solid stone.
They walk up to a towering, dark stone figure that is much, much taller than any of them. And Ninek introduces it as the Bajawa statue.
It's just huge. And Ninek explains its origin story, which is fascinating.
Yeah, where did it come from? Because it wasn't carved in Jakarta, right?
Yep. This gigantic, heavy stone statue was brought from far away on the island of Sumatra. Specifically, West Sumatra. And they didn't discover it sitting nicely in a castle or a museum. They had to lift it straight out of a muddy rice field near a river.
Okay, try to picture the physical reality of that. A massive stone figure, far heavier than a modern car, sinking deep into the wet, sticky mud of a rice field.
Just thinking about moving that makes my back hurt.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because Jinga looks at this giant rock statue and asks the exact right question.
She's such a smart kid.
She says, how did they carry it? It's so heavy, even carrying my small little backpack is heavy.
I love this moment because Jinga is thinking like an engineer. How does a society without huge cranes or modern truck engines move a mountain of rock?
And this raises an important question about why studying history matters.
Exactly. When children or anyone really look at an artifact like this, it forces them to think about ancient engineering and problem solving.
Ninek smiles and explains that our ancestors didn't just, carry these things on their backs.
Well, they couldn't. It would crush them immediately.
Precisely. They used advanced techniques. They understood physics.
Wait, really? Like, what did they do?
They used thick ropes. They created tracks out of rolling wooden logs to reduce friction.
Oh, so they rolled it.
Yeah, and they harnessed the incredible power of human teamwork. They used leverage and balance. They were highly skilled engineers working with the materials they had.
That completely changes how you look at people from the past. You know, sometimes we think that because they didn't have smart devices, they weren't as smart as us.
Which is so not true.
Right. Moving that statue out of the mud and across the ocean required brilliant minds.
So our ancestors engineered amazing ways to move massive stones. But as the family explores further, they realize the ancestors didn't just use stone for building.
No, they used it as sort of their version of the internet.
A way to send messages into the future. That leads to their encounter with the Prasasti.
Which translates to stone inscriptions.
Let's explain that. An inscription is writing that is carved directly into a hard surface, like a rock.
So, Ninek brings Camille over to one specific Prasasti. And she reminds him of a legend about a very famous man named Gajah Mada from the ancient Majapahit Empire.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah. She tells Camille that Gajah Mada was known for being incredibly powerful and magical. She uses the Indonesian word sakti.
Sakti. That's a great word.
It really is. And the amazing thing is, Gajah Mada isn't just a fairy tale character. His actual history is carved right into the stone they are looking at.
But Jenga and Camille quickly realize there is a bit of a barrier here. They look at the stone and they can't read a single word.
Not one.
The letters look entirely different from the alphabet we use today. Ninek explains that the writing is in an ancient script, often Sanskrit or Old Javanese.
She tells the kids they would have to study and learn this ancient language first to crack the code.
Think about the mechanics of this for a second. Imagine if your computer hard drive could only hold one single document.
Okay, sounds frustrating.
Right. And it took you a whole month of hard physical labor just to type it. You would only write down the most important things in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Carving a Prasasti was incredibly difficult. You have to chisel every single letter into solid rock. And if you make a spelling mistake...
You can't just use an eraser.
Exactly. You can't just hit backspace. You have a permanent mistake in the giant rock.
That difficulty is exactly the point, though. This connects right back to the author's core message about the sophistication of these ancient people.
How so?
Well, why go through the agonizing trouble of carving words into a boulder? Because paper burns, wood rots over time, cloth tears.
But stone survives for thousands of years.
Exactly. They knew they wouldn't live forever, so they used stone to make sure their rules, their history, and their heroes would.
They were basically writing a letter directly to us, the people of the future, and they used a boulder as the envelope.
That's a perfect way to put it. So they used stone to remember heroes, but they also used it for something deeply personal.
Right. As the family moves to a different section, they find these large rectangular rocks with deep holes carved right into the middle of them.
Ninek explains that these are the Kubra Batu, which means stone graves.
She tells the kids that a long, long time ago, some of their ancestors used these custom-carved stones to bury their family members who had passed away.
The holes were tailored specifically to fit the needs of a family at that time.
Now, wait, hold on. Custom-carved holes in a rock for a grave. I have to admit, to someone living today, that sounds incredibly strange, maybe even a little spooky.
I mean, kids definitely might find that a bit creepy.
Yeah. How does Ninek explain this to the kids without scaring them?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, she explains it by focusing on the human element. The joy of going to a museum is learning about traditions that are totally different from our own modern habits.
Okay, that makes sense.
When you look closely at a stone grave, you shouldn't feel spooked. You should see a family who cared deeply about their loved one, putting in massive amounts of physical labor to carve a safe, permanent resting place for them.
I really like that perspective. The technology is different. They used carved rocks while we use modern cemeteries, but the driving emotion is the exact same.
It is the human need to honor our families and be remembered. It teaches us to be curious about how other people lived instead of just judging it as weird.
And that curiosity is what fuels Camille's absolute favorite part of the museum. He leads the family to the area filled with statues and displays of early humans.
The minutia purba.
Yes. The comic shows Jenga and Camille staring wide-eyed at a display with a painting of a dinosaur in the background. They are completely captivated by how different life used to be.
It's like looking into another world.
But, taking in all this history, from giant statues to secret stone codes to early humans exploring, takes a lot of energy.
You can't be a great historian on an empty stomach.
Never. So the family takes a break and heads to the museum canteen. And in this comic book, even lunchtime is a brilliant history lesson.
That's the best kind of lesson.
They sit down at a table with cold drinks and steaming bowls of soup. Jenga takes a bite and is amazed by how delicious it is.
Her aunt explains that they are eating soto betawi.
Ah, so good.
Soto is a traditional Indonesian soup, and the aunt tells them that this specific recipe belongs to the Betawi people who are the native residents of Jakarta.
It is a rich, flavorful broth, usually made with beef and coconut milk or regular milk. But the reason this is so important to the story is that it shows us that history isn't just found in hard, cold stone statues.
Right. Culture is alive. It is in the hot, delicious food we eat today.
A recipe that a grandmother teaches her grandson is an artifact, just as much as a carved rock. You can literally taste the history.
And Ninek, being the caring grandmother she is, pats Jenga on the head and tells the kids to chew their food slowly.
Good advice.
They need to finish safely because there's still so much more exploring to do.
So what does this all mean? Let's zoom out and look at our mission for today. We wanted to see how the author, Yeni Yulianti, shared her passion for museums with us.
And I think she definitely succeeded. She proved that history is not just, a boring list of dates you have to memorize for a school test.
Through Jenga, Camille, and their Nenek, she showed us that history is a series of incredible stories.
It is about master engineers moving mountains of rock through muddy fields.
It is about powerful kings leaving secret messages in ancient alphabets.
It is about families honoring their loved ones.
And it is about the living culture we share over a delicious bowl of soto betawi.
The author wants you, our young explorer, to remember this the next time you have the chance to visit a museum.
Don't just walk past an object in a glass case and glance at it for 2 seconds.
Stop and look closely. Be a brave treasure hunter.
Ask yourself the hard questions. How did they build this without modern machines? Who held this tool? What were they worried about or happy about when they made it?
Let your imagination run wild because every single object is a clue to a much bigger mystery.
History is simply the story of us. And museums are the libraries where those physical stories are kept.
That's wonderfully said.
Which leaves me with one final fun question for you to imagine today. Think about your absolute favorite thing in your bedroom right now.
Oh, this is a fun game.
Maybe it is a video game console, your favorite pair of colorful sneakers, or a special toy. Now, imagine if someone 500 years in the future found that item and put your favorite thing in a giant museum behind a glass case.
Wow.
When the treasure hunters of the future look at your item, what story do you think they will tell about you?
That is a wonderful mystery to leave them with.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep being curious, keep asking big questions, and keep practicing your English. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to English Mastery. I hope today's episode helped you learn something new and made you feel more confident in using English. Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember, progress comes step by step. See you in the next episode, and have a great day.